This is an 11 Alive Voices for Equality special, Living Out Loud.
Hatred has no place here in Georgia.
No matter how I identify, it is real and it is valid, no matter what the world thinks of it.
We've existed from the beginning of time.
I would love to say that I had like some, I'm gonna sit you down and talk to you and tell you, that I'm a lesbian, but it wasn't that way. It was a very slow migrating. This is my friend. And I did not know, honestly, if my family would grow with me as I journeyed through where I am today.
My coming out story was different. My family is very open. They welcome everyone. I just got the courage one afternoon. I was just starting to date someone really openly for the first time. And I was sitting there at the table with my mom, just me and her. And I just said, well, I just want you to know that, I'm a lesbian now. I'm dating a woman.
I remember telling my grandmother first, and then I told my mother. And I think very similar to, many Black and brown folks across our beautiful country, I think I've had series of coming out stories. When we came out, we experienced maybe like silence from our loved ones and different family members. And I think about what that space of silence can do to a young person.
I come from a really deeply religious family. All of my family is in the church, and that's how they took it well. They gave you the I still love you part of it, although I don't agree with this. That was sort of how it happened.
And so my mom asked my friend, she's like, I've seen you guys hanging out. Are you dating? What's going on? And she was just like, yeah, I am. And I was like, yeah, you love who you love. And then my mom turned to me and was like, well, who are you loving?
I actually came out when I was a freshman in college. So this was actually in the mid-1980s. I had just turned 19 years old, and I was away from my small town and away from my family for the first time. And I was a theater student, and so it really was a very nurturing environment to come out.
I don't ever remember really being in the closet, but I did officially come out in 1996. And I remember that year because it was the year before Ellen came out. So I didn't have a blueprint, I didn't have a roadmap for coming out, but it was just something that I knew I absolutely had to do.
Mine was very interesting. I came out a little bit later. As time progressed, we, kind of had some of the challenges that normally, progress, especially Black Southern Christian household. So, we had some of those challenges, but we're working through it, and we're definitely in a better place. My father, on the other hand, that was even later.
So I was assigned female at birth, and I always was very tomboyish in my dress. And my mother was okay with that until I got my first job, and I went to Walmart and I bought some SpongeBob boxers, and she was doing laundry, and I'm also an only child. So she's just like, whose boxers are these? And I'm like, they're mine. And she goes, do you want to be a boy or something? And I just start crying. And I ran to my room, and she came upstairs and she goes, whoever you are is okay. My mother died when I was 15. About 3 months before she died, she started telling me that all boys grow differently. And I had no idea what she meant. But she started telling me the origin story of my name, and my mother named me Ashley Jamel. And she said she wanted to give me the autonomy to decide who I would be, because she always felt that there were two spirits inside of me, and she wanted to allow me to choose. My second coming out story was when I decided to transition, when my mother's words finally made sense, that, oh, she recognized that I was trans. She didn't have the language for that, but she saw me for who I was.
I had to come out because I was taking a new medication because I'm living with HIV, and I had this reaction to it, and I had to tell my family, okay, I know what's going on, but I have to also give you the background on how we even got here. So I sat my parents down, who were divorced at the time, my little brother, and I said, hey, I'm gay, and I have been through some abusive relationships, and I am also living with HIV. So my coming out experience was, it was heavy, it was a lot.
And it was actually the night before I was getting sworn in to a second term on the Atlanta City Council. I wrestled with whether or not to make a public pronouncement. As a former teacher here in Atlanta and as a former school board member, I thought a lot about the students I had either taught at Carver or seen as a board member. And then I thought a lot about the students who showed no hesitation at all in living exactly and authentically who they were.